think we have everything set up. Drinks, food, and especially snacks. I even made sure to get all your favorites because, hey, that's what best friends do. So, before we watch a movie and snuggle or something, or go to sleep, I mean, hey, if you're up to it, that is, you just know we can do what we want. But anyway, what I'm getting at here is, I was wondering if you could help me out with something first. See, I've been writing this story, right? And I was wondering if you could sort of give me your feedback, you know? Well, it's still in the early stages. It's more of an outline, really, but... Anyway, I was thinking you could quickly run it through? Go through the main points, maybe, and you could tell me your thoughts. Would that be all right with you? Great, great. Well, that's amazing. I'm so glad to hear it. Okay, so let me just get the book, okay? So, where do I begin? So, I guess I should give you the main character, right? So, he's a boy with hair colored just like mine, and he lives in a house just like this one. And he has this friend. This friend with an eye color just like yours. In fact, that he loves. He loves very, 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 very much. Much more than just a friend. But the friend is very dense. And never seems to realize it. In fact, the friend seems to be kind of slow to read between the lines just in general. Okay, so what do you think of the character so far? Nothing's wrong with him so far, right? Right? Right, yeah, exactly. Nothing's wrong with him. He didn't do anything wrong. Anyway, so this boy is madly in love with his friend. I'm talking about, 200% crazy, head over heels, absolutely nuts in love. His friend is making... His friend is making him lose his marbles. But, I mean, hey, hopefully that's not the only thing. But it's really difficult when his friend is this dense. So, anyway, the boy really loves his friend, but he can't confess. Because what if he gets rejected? He could never take that. ruin their relationship. It would ruin their friendship. And that's maybe the one real connection he has. The one emotional connection, that is. Everything else in life feels so empty and fake to him. So he really doesn't have the heart to confess directly. There's too much he could lose. He's a little afraid. So he tries to sort of feel things out, if you get what I'm saying. He tries to make little allusions here and there, trying to test his friend's reaction, seeing if it's okay to confess yet. Sometimes he says things in a sort of indirect way, shows his affection that way, I guess. Little gestures of romance here and there. Candlelit dinner. Days out to museums or places that his friend really likes. Sleepovers. But, of course, his friend is hopelessly dense. So, this method never really works for him. He even asks to spend time around theirs a lot. And he says some remarks like, "You're so good at snuggling. You give amazing hugs. I wish I was the boyfriend of someone who hugs like you." Or something like that. His friend still doesn't get it, of course. They never do. The boy does everything. He even makes sure to keep all of his friend's favorite snacks in his cupboard. But of course, the significance of this goes unnoticed. It's so frustrating for this friend, for this boy. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh, it's quite tragic. Having seen it, being exposed to it again, rereading it again, it's... His frustration sort of boils into me, I guess. But, okay, so now, what do you think of him so far? Right. So far so good. He didn't do anything wrong. How could have he? How could have he have done? There's nothing wrong with him trying to interact and be indirect and test the waters. Nothing wrong with him wanting to protect his relationships and his happiness. If anything, the friend should have really noticed his feelings. Am I right? You think so? I think so a little. But I'm still not done. Let me get on with the story, okay? So, the boy just really can't get enough of his friend. He wants to be romantic with them My hands are shaking. I don't know why I'm this nervous. It's just a story, right? It's not real. And anyway, what is real these days? Sorry. Anyway, he just wants to be romantic with them. He wishes they were a couple, but he just can't seize that dream. So he fantasizes a little bit. You know, innocent little fantasies. Everyone has that about their crush, right? Well, he does too. Innocent little fantasies like holding hands with them and hugging them and getting married to them. But that's still not enough. It was never enough. And he just wants to bring that fantasy just a little bit into reality. So he takes a photo he has of himself and his friend together, and he, edits it a bit. Nothing big, just makes it look like a wedding photo. Wedding suit, he's wearing a wedding suit, and his friend is there too, and it's all amazing. And it makes him so happy. So happy to finally have a bit of reality. A bit of reality to his fantasy. Something tangible. He looks at that photo every day. And every night. He makes it his phone background. He frames a copy and even sleeps next to it. It's the only thing that gives him peace of mind. When he's usually such an insomniac from not getting his happily ever after. But he can't be satisfied with that. No. Not with just a photo. It's still missing something. His fantasy just isn't physical enough. He thinks of all the times he hugs his friend and how lovely it would be to feel like that even when they weren't around. So he thinks of his friend's sweater. And how if he wore that, it would sort of feel like he's hugging them, snuggling with them, and he needs that. He needs that very, very much. So one day, when his friend isn't paying attention, he ever so deftly swipes the sweater and replaces it with an identical one. He gets away with it completely. He keeps a straight face the entire day. He smiles to his friend as usual. He laughs with them as usual, but they don't suspect a thing. And he loves that sweater. He treasures it and cherishes it and goes to sleep wearing it every single night, pretending like it's his friend all around him. And I would like to ask you what you think about him right now. But I already know the answer. It's fine. It's fine. He's fine. He didn't do anything wrong. He's just acting out of love. Nothing wrong with that, is there? Nothing wrong with loving his friend who has your hair colour, who has your eye colour, who happens to love the same snacks as you. There's nothing wrong with the main character being a little romantic. But it's because he's so romantic that he just can't settle down. He can't be happy with just a sweater. As great as it is, it's still just a sweater, you know. It's not as great as the real thing. And he is just torn apart that he can't stay. And he can't spend more time with his friend. Every second he's away from them, it's like eating away at his insides, little by little, by little, by little, by little, by little, by little. And he just can't take it anymore. He doesn't like it. Not one bit. He wants to spend every waking second with them, but obviously that's not possible. Oh, how he wishes it were possible. So he starts watching that friend. He starts with just watching them from behind a car or something, or on the way home from work, and it was on his commute after all. It was fine. It was like he just saw them on the bus. If it's nothing. But after a while he gets an idea. He sets up cameras, very hidden cameras, over the places he frequents. Coffee shops, the cinema, his work. And of course, he sets them up in his house. Nowhere unreasonable, of course. He's not that desperate of a friend. He's not that evil. he wouldn't do that to his friend, right? That would be wrong. He's not a bad guy. He's not a bad guy. He's fine. But now he knows where his friend is all the time. He knows where they go every single day. It's like they're a couple, but they're not. They're not a couple. They're not a couple. You don't have to say anything. He's a great character though, right? He's fine. He's fine. He knows. He didn't do anything wrong. But like I was saying. Yeah, anyway. Uh, they're not a couple. And in a way, seeing his friend all the time, watching him, it makes him extremely aware of that. Because, yeah, he can see all the things his friend does, but it also shows him the attention they get from other people. And he just feels so neglected. When he sees them sharing meals with others, he thinks that should be me sharing that meal with them. When he sees them laughing and joking with others, he thinks that should be me. And when he sees them talking to others, he thinks that should be me. And when he sees them hugging people, he thinks that should be me. Sorry. Sorry, I guess I got a little too into the role. Anyway, I guess he tries to keep it together. Sometimes it slips out. Of course he tries. He never does anything wrong, though. He tries to bury his feelings deep down within his heart because he doesn't want to hurt all those people that are coming in between him and his friend, even though he wants to. Even though he wants to so bad. He doesn't want to be destructive. He doesn't want to be harmful. Especially not around his sweetheart. But there's no way to keep a burden like that all inside, right? His jealousy, his resentment towards his feelings of neglect, they all get a bit more heated. Day after day after day until eventually, inevitably, the entire thing boils over. So, he invites his friend over. He invites them over to a sleepover. Just like this one. And the one thing he wants more than anything is to just be accepted. But it's so hard to even ask for that. If he tries to be direct, he just stutters around like a bumbling idiot. 'Cause he is an idiot. He's nothing but a He can never do anything right. He's never done anything right all his life. And he hates himself for that. So, he confesses about his feelings. But he confesses about them in a sort of indirect way. He confesses as if he was a character in his story. that felt he did all the things that he did and not himself. But he's worried. He's so worried. He's terrified even. What if he isn't accepted? What if they try and run away? He can't let them get away, so he has a backup plan. He has locks on his door. They look just like the ones on mine. In fact, they're locked right now. And he knows that he's much, much stronger than his friend. He's able to break his body in all sorts of ways. But he doesn't want to hurt them. He doesn't have to. He would never hurt his friend. Because they wouldn't be his friend at that point. They wouldn't be able to get away if they wanted to anyway. Because he would just keep coming after them. But why would they want to leave? He didn't do anything wrong. He never does a thing wrong. Especially for his friend. So, what do you think the friend will do now? Are you going to leave?